So the typical steps in a diligence process for us, we're typically dealing with quite early stage companies, Series A, Series B, but the typical steps would be, let's find out who you are as the entrepreneur, let's find out the team that you've built around you, and let's find out about the product. What are its specifications? Who's the competition? How do you stack up and how do you differentiate?
We essentially will ask you probably hundreds of questions, if I'm honest, about your business model, about the competitive landscape, about your pricing, about R&D, about customer insights, feedback loops, distribution. We ask a lot of questions so that we fully understand your business model, the opportunities, the risks, and the weaknesses of that model. On the financial side, we will ask for audited financial statements. That's a validation point that we do have. Other validation points that we have is that we want to go out and talk to your customers. We want to go out and see your factory. We want to go out and, if possible, buy your product. So there's these external validation points that we also have.
Be prepared to have really odd, awkward questions, and lots of them. So set your expectations pretty low in terms of, what you mean they asked me for that again? Yeah, we'll ask you for that again, and we'll keep asking, and there'll be more, and you'll not have thought of some things that we'll be asking for, and that many other investors will ask for. But it's all to build up the sense of intimacy.
When we make an investment, we're getting married. And what happens to you happens to us as investors. And so we need to fully understand kind of what's happening inside of the business. Essentially what happens is that I become the champion for your business inside of my firm. And so if I'm gonna be your champion, then I have to know the ins and outs, and I have to know everything about your business. And so we ask all these questions, not because we're trying to make your life more difficult, but we ask these questions so that we have the information that we need to go to bat for you inside of our organization.
Because ultimately, when we're thinking about making an investment, we're thinking about valuation, we're thinking about all sorts of different factors. What we're doing is we're saying, look, can we trust these individuals? Right? Do they come to the table with some honesty and authenticity? Because it's going to be a hard journey ahead.
And I think the other part of the diligence process that entrepreneurs may not necessarily be aware of is that we're also sussing out your character. Your business is going to struggle, and we're okay with that. But we need to understand and know that we are betting, so to speak, on the person in the team that has the character to take them through the highs and the lows of running a business. We're getting to know your character, how you handle tough questions, how do you say, I don't know? How have you dealt with previous setbacks? That's all a part of the diligence process that has nothing to do with the commercial side, but more from the standpoint of who are you as a person, as an entrepreneur, and do we want to walk this journey together with you?